I have retainers, check.
That is a pretty good idea, actually. I thought it was funny in the comments though. It said, why does everybody want braces so bad? Like, trust me, you don't. But that didn't stop other people to say, I need them. And where do you buy it? I need these, please. I'm not gonna lie. That's actually a really smart way. It's probably one of the best ways that I've seen to do fake braces. I was obviously probably the first person to make fake braces, and I did them like super glue on a retainer and all this type of stuff. But this is actually pretty smart because you don't see the plastic and it kind of it's a custom wire across there. That's just basically an old school Holly retainer that they glued the brackets onto the wire themselves, so you can like take it in and out. And I guess technically if you had a Holly retainer, you could probably put fake braces on the Holly retainer to make it look like you still had braces even though you had your retainer. It gets kind of confusing, but it could work. In the end, what camp are you guys in? Let me know down below. Are you team braces or are you team not braces? Let me know, because I'm personally partial to braces. I think they're pretty cool. Not only for the fact that I put the braces on, but at the end you get the Hollywood smile and you're happy for the rest of your life. And that's pretty cool. Until then, I guess you could just wear fake braces retainers like this guy.
If you have braces, okay, and you're about to get them off, or you already have them off, and they give you this retainer, guard this with your life. Never miss a day.
I tried to tell you, but nobody listened. It's almost like we give you a retainer to retain your teeth. But anyways, fun fact, actually you don't have to wear it every single night forever. You see, your teeth sit inside the bone and they're connected by thousands of little bungee cords. So let's say that I'm a crooked tooth. I'm turned sideways and I turn this away. Those bungee cords attached to me will stretch along with me. When your braces are done and we release them from their braces prison, what happens? Those bungee cords try and stretch you back and take you from straight all the way back turned again. Now after years of wearing your retainer, I'm talking like 5 years plus, those bungee cords start to loosen up a little bit and they're not as tight anymore. So when you're 5-10 years down the line, you don't have to wear it every single night. You could probably even get away with 2-3 times a week, even longer down the line, 15 years, maybe once a week. But until that happens, you need to wear your retainers every night. Oh, the dreaded braces lip stuck. And it looks like people in the comments actually had the same exact problem. I feel so extra doing this, but I'm sorry, my lips get stuck. And someone else said, it's so embarrassing when my lips get stuck and I'm talking to somebody. And the fun fact is, I got this rack and I had it on there for over a year, and you know, I can attest, it does get stuck sometimes. But that's not actually the only thing that you have to get used to when you just get your braces on. Here's a few tips to help you out. One, the brackets do get kind of tough and stuck on your lips, but the hooks actually on the brackets are normally the culprit. And so something that you can do to help this out is actually use some wax. So you can actually ball up the wax and you can put it on there. That will help smooth it over to help those lips slide a little bit better. If the regular wax isn't sticking very good, a couple tips that you can do is actually dry the area completely, and then you can use some hot water or something to soften up the wax and make it into a ball, and then you can put that on the dry racket and it'll stick a lot better when it's dry. Another thing that you're gonna have to get used to is your wires poking you in the back. It actually happens because at the start your teeth are all crooked and all mixed up, and when they straighten out, the wire will shoot out the back, poking you in the back of the mouth. Now you can also use that wax as well to help stick it on there, or you just call your orthodontist and get your wire clipped really quickly and it'll be just fine. And lastly, you just got to get used to the pain overall. I mean, you got muscles in these teeth and basically it's like having 32 sore muscles at the same time. And so what you can do is take some Tylenol for the pain, and then also some ice water will help a lot too, because that ice water will actually deactivate the heat activated wires, giving you a little bit of time and pressure taken off your teeth to kind of help you get through it a bit. Luckily for you, the lips and the tongue and the poking and the soreness will go away after a week or two, and also talking too. You'll get used to talking, and then after that, really your braces journey is pretty easy after that. But until then, just use those tips until you get that Hollywood smile.
Let me hear say
Oh no, my poor lips! Wait a second, is this true? Will my lips just magically stop looking plump when I get my braces off? Well, yes and no. You see, her lips really didn't get any smaller with the braces. It's just the illusion of them getting a little bit smaller. You see, braces, well, they stick outward a little bit, and they're not just completely flush to your teeth. So when you get them in, your lips do kind of push out a little bit. That's why it's so weird to talk when you get your braces on, but then eventually you just get used to it and it becomes normal. And then when you get your braces off, unfortunately, you lose some of that lip fullness that you see. Now that being said, some people's teeth are a little bit retroclined or tipped back, and if you flare them outward, they'll actually have more lip projection than they did before braces. So the answer is, it kind of depends. Well, she doesn't look happy. But luckily some people in the comments are having some encouraging words for her. Somebody said, braces are like makeup. Your teeth are gonna look so weird for months, but wait for the final look, sis. So worth it. And somebody else said, the adjustment period is hard. It's painful. You get used to it, and just remember, no one is ever gonna judge anybody for having braces. It's gonna be okay. And that's actually so true. The crazy part is back in the day when I was younger, adults having braces was, not gonna lie, it was kind of weird. But nowadays, so many adults get braces, it's completely normal, and nobody really judges. Actually, people think braces are kind of cool nowadays. But there's probably a lot going through your head, so I'm gonna try and give you a couple little tips to kind of help you out. The first thing is obviously those first 2 weeks, you're gonna be pretty sore, but don't freak out too much because you will be able to get past that pretty quickly. After 2 weeks, the pain pretty much goes away, and you really don't have it for the rest of treatment. A lot of people think that it's a super painful thing that happens every single time, but really that's just not true. Another thing is you probably are gonna see teeth move and get a little worse before they get better. That is normal sometimes, and it does happen, so don't freak out too much. It is part of the process as we go up through the wire. If your orthodontist tells you to wear rubber bands or anything crazy like that, wear the crap out of them because it's gonna get you out of them a lot quicker. And lastly, a fun little tip that I didn't know, make sure you use Tylenol, not ibuprofen, because ibuprofen can actually slow down tooth movement and keep you in braces longer. Hopefully some of those tips and these encouraging comments will turn that frown upside down, because literally in like a year or two, you're gonna have a Hollywood smile and it's gonna look awesome. Holy torture device! And for real, it looks like you guys in the comments agree with me. We got Laura saying, the Herbst appliance was not fun. Do not recommend. It did the job though. And someone else said, I still try to keep my mouth closed when I yawn because the bars would unhook. The Herbst appliance is pure torture. And so Bentist, what is this Herbst appliance and what the heck is going on here? Well, you see, a lot of people have braces. They don't just have teeth issues. You know, their teeth aren't just crooked. They actually have jaw issues as well. There can be a big underbite or a big overbite. And so we have to use things called rubber bands to help fix it. The problem is if you're not wearing the rubber bands, nothing's gonna happen. You see, we have full control with the brackets and the wires to straighten the teeth, but you're the only one that can move the teeth back and forth with rubber bands. And if you don't wear it, well, it's not gonna happen. And so after a while, we give you a little chance, then we give you a second chance, and then we give you a third chance, and then, well, if you're just not gonna do the job, we'll do it for you. And in comes the Herbst appliance. It's basically like a metal rubber band built into your mouth. And so every time you open and close, it puts that pressure on there. It's like this little kind of piston device, and if you yawn too big, like that girl said, it can actually come out and fall apart, and it's a big mess. Let's just say that these are a lot more annoying than rubber bands, so I definitely highly suggest you know what, it's crazy, I'm gonna give you a little suggestion: wear the rubber bands, fix your bite and jaw while you can, because you can only really fix these things when you got growth going on, and if you don't do it now, then you might even need jaw surgery if you don't fix it. So just get it over with, wear them, get your perfect Hollywood smile, and then you'll be looking good in the end. I hope that helps.
Like piece of bitch over to my
I know my teeth are bad and I am ready to shatter my self-esteem, so let's take a look. Yellow object for reference. Not as bad as I thought.
And here I thought she was gonna have cheddar cheese slices as teeth. But for real though, I think you guys have a lot of misconceptions about yellow teeth that just aren't true. I mean, some of these comments were wild. Check this out. Now this one's half right and half wrong, but this one said, teeth are supposed to have yellow in them. They're bones, but they do look good. She in fact is right. Your teeth are naturally yellow, okay? They're not supposed to be porcelain toilet bowl white, but they're actually not bones. They're actually more similar to the keratin in your fingernails or your hair. This other girl says that yellow teeth are actually stronger than white teeth, so don't feel insecure about them. Once again, a half and half. Don't be insecure about them. They're just yellow teeth. White or yellow, it doesn't matter about your strength. White teeth are not any less strong or stronger. It's literally just a color. You see, what happens is you actually have all these little holes in your teeth, and the hydrogen peroxide or whatever you're whitening with goes inside the teeth and actually whitens it and cleans it from the inside out. It doesn't have anything to do about the actual makeup of the tooth itself. It's just the staining on it. Some people have more or less staining depending on if they drink a lot of coffee and tea and everything, because it gets down in the holes and it can stain from the inside out. So if you want to whiten your teeth and have white teeth, that's perfectly fine. But if you have a little yellow teeth, it's also completely normal. In fact, you were born that way. Broken brackets? I mean, you literally broke the entire front row. What were you chewing on, rocks? But for real though, Bentist, what gives? Is it her fault or is it the orthodontist's fault that she broke these brackets? Well, what if I told you that it can actually be both? That's right, sometimes it's actually the orthodontist's fault that your brackets break. And just because I tell you this doesn't mean you can go around blaming your orthodontist for everything, because most of the time it's you. But anyways, there's two ways to tell how your bracket broke. You see, when you break a bracket, something happens. The bond between your teeth, the glue, and the bracket has failed somehow. somewhere. Now, eating Takis, rocks, anything hard will actually shatter the bond between the glue and the bracket, leaving the glue on your tooth. This means that when you come in and you have your broken bracket, I take a look at your teeth. If there is glue still attached to your teeth, that means you used a shear force to break that bracket off, aka meaning you're doing what you weren't supposed to be and probably eating something hard. Now, on the other hand, a bracket is just bonded to your tooth chemically using different resins and composites and all that type of stuff. But sometimes that bond to the actual tooth itself can fail. Now, this can be due to a lot of reasons. Maybe we didn't cure long enough, maybe you got saliva in the bond, a bunch of different reasons. But if this happens, you can actually break your tooth and you'll look and there will be no glue on the tooth. And this is because the bond from the glue to the tooth actually failed. And crazy enough, this is actually more than likely due to the procedure that the orthodontist did, meaning the orthodontist actually might be to blame for your broken bracket. So next time you break a bracket, go ahead and check that tooth and see if there's any glue left on there. If there is, it's your fault and we know it. Oh no, we're bringing it back. We're bringing it back. You guys didn't know this was a huge deal in like 2020, you know, multiple, I know I've been on this app a long time, but there was a big time where people were bringing these binkies to school and they were wearing them all the time, but you know what? It caused a lot of problems. But what problems, Bentist? How can a binky ruin your teeth? Well, some people in the comments actually had some theories. We actually had one person say, okay, but like developing an overbite though? And another person said, I'm scared I'll get my pre-braces overbite pack. And you're kind of close, but actually not close. Because you see, putting pressure on a binky over time, especially if you're doing it for long hours at a time and really consistently over the week, will actually put pressure on those teeth. And as you bite down, the pressure will drive those teeth away from each other, actually. So an overbite is technically how deep it is. Some people think it's how far out it is, which, I mean, we can call that an overbite if you want. It's technically called an overjet. But what a binky is going to cause is actually an open bite. And this is what an open bite looks like. And in fact, this is the exact reason why we tell people to wean babies off of their pacifiers before their permanent teeth come in, because if they keep using it, they will develop that giant overbite, and if it gets locked into a permanent teeth dentition, a lot of problems can happen. Even so much so that some people have to get jaw surgery to fix an open bite. That's how severe it can get. If you really have ADHD and you're trying to figure out something when you study, maybe get a fidget spinner or something, or a little button you can click, or you can click a pen or something else that doesn't necessarily involve, you know, ruining your teeth and jaws. Food getting stuck and braces go hand in hand. But what if I told you that you didn't need to do all this crazy flicking and popping with some toothpick? Because I literally created the best solution for braces flushing out there. That's right, we're talking about my Something Nice water flosser, and it's actually got a feature in it that no other water flosser has. You see, normal water flossers shoot very hard, and that is their only option is to floss between your teeth. But if you angle that up to get all that food and gunk out of your braces, you're now shooting that high-powered stream of water up into your gum tissue, damaging your fibers of your PDL. And that's why when we engineered our water flosser, we put in a dual motor safe mode. So not only do we have the high power for perfect flossing, but for people who want to flush out tonsil stones or flush out their braces like this girl would, we have a special slow mode. And you can see that it's pulsing here, and when you grid it down low, you can see, listen how low that is. It's so low, and it shoots out so soft. So it's the perfect level for you to flush out all that food and nasty gunk out of your braces without hurting your gum tissue. Not only that, but we created the perfect floss for your braces as well. And so if you want a cheaper option that works pretty good as well, we've created these little floss picks that go up in between the brackets. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, these have happened before. People have had these. Well, no, not actually. These are stronger plastic. There's xylitol in the threads. We have a rubber band holder inside the floss pick that's never been done before, and we also have a built-in tongue scraper so you can keep that tongue clean too. So instead of flicking food all over your teachers and your friends, get something that actually cleans your braces. I would know. I literally engineered it. It took me like 2 to 3 years. Hope that helps. What in the ruin in your braces is going on here? And it looks like the people in the comments agree. We've got, are you supposed to do that? And somebody said, that's not the brightest thing to do. And I will agree, it's probably not smart to do because it's basically ruining your braces treatment. So what she's got going on there are actually very similar to what we call power chains. They're just a metal tie version of power chains that hold all those teeth together. Not only that, but she has the wire completely out. She's going and cutting and all sorts of crazy things. Who knows where those pliers have been? I don't think that that meets the health code episodes at all. But seriously, I get it, guys. I get that braces are annoying, or it's poking you, or whatever else, and so you're just like, I'm gonna take this into my own hands and I'm just gonna rip them all off myself. Probably not the smartest idea though, because all it's gonna do is set you back in treatment and cause you to be in braces even longer. And lastly, I know that there's a lot of tips and tricks out there about cutting the wire if something happens. I think this is an important thing to talk about because there are certain times that you don't want to cut the wire. So early on, your wires are very thin and flexible, and they're easy if they're poking you. And the reason why we taught you guys how to do this is because what happens is as your teeth are crowded and then they straighten out, that wire shoots out the back and starts poking you in the back of your mouth. And so we were just like, oh yeah, there's super thin wires, it's not a big deal. Take some fingernail clippers or a little clipper like that and just clip the back wire and you're gonna feel a lot better. The problem is in braces, you go from a very small wire to a bigger wire to a bigger wire to a big, thick stainless steel type wire, big enough to where you're not gonna be able to cut it with anything you got at home unless you got some big old chopping pliers, okay? We got special pliers to cut that wire. So when you go in there trying to cut it this time, most of the time you end up just bending the wire, which causes unwanted forces. You end up breaking the brackets off. You end up messing up a whole bunch of stuff. So maybe just avoid that, okay? Last week with braces, how about the first week with braces? And also congrats on getting your braces off, unless they lied to you and you're actually not getting them off. But anyways, Bentist, why is her teeth hurting and why is she putting ice on the brackets? Well, in the beginning, your teeth are moving for the first time, and so it does really hurt. I mean, these are just muscles, so imagine muscle soreness, but 32 muscles at the same time. And normally after the first week or two, your pain is gone, you're done for good, but sometimes at the end, we do what we call detailing. And so at the end of the braces, we need to get it perfect, so we'll bend the wire in special different places, and you can see the little bends in the wires, and that will finally kind of move your teeth to the final spot. And these movements combined with some power chain to tighten everything up can cause some last minute pain. But that doesn't answer why she's using a giant ice stick deodorant on her teeth. Well, she probably heard that ice actually deactivates the wire because it's a heat activated nickel titanium wire. And so she thought that putting ice on the bracket would deactivate it. And I mean, it may a little bit, but a better way of doing this would be to getting a bunch of ice water, putting in your mouth, swishing it all over, and that will do a lot better job of deactivating the wire. Another tip you could do is actually just taking some Tylenol. That helps really good as well. Do these things whether it's the last week or the first week and you'll be just fine.